Pope Leo XIV apologizes for the Church's role in slavery and taking decades to condemn it. The question then is, what role did the Catholic Church play in enslaving the African people? For centuries, this question has sparked fierce debate. On May 25, 2026, the answer came, not from historians or activists, but from the Vatican itself. Standing in the Vatican Synod Hall, Pope Leo released his first encyclical, Magnificent Humanity, and in paragraphs 174 to 176, did something no pope has ever done before. He asked for forgiveness for the role the Apostolic See itself played in authorizing the enslavement of the African people. So how did this happen? Around the 15th century, popes issued papal bulls. These are official letters or decrees. In this context, the papal bull authorized subjugation, humiliation, and the torture of non-Christians. Such orders ensure that the church subordinates bought and sold enslaved people to finance its expansion. In 1452, Pope Nicholas V issued a papal bull to European monarchs in Spain and Portugal, granting them permission to invade, conquer, and enslave non-Christians. The Portuguese, under the guise of spreading Christianity, targeted non-Christians of West Africa. The church frequently uses institutional infrastructure, including plantations, missions, and financial systems, to buy, hold, and sell enslaved people. According to an American writer, Rachel Swans, for more than a century, the Catholic Church financed its expansion and institutions with profits made from the purchase and sale of people they had enslaved. In her book titled The 272, she writes, "Without the enslaved, the Catholic Church in the United States as we know it today would not exist." The book is titled The 272 because the Jesuit province in Maryland sold 272 enslaved people in 1838 to pay their debts and save Georgetown, the first Catholic institution of higher learning in the United States. Enslavement separated families, it forced people from their homes, destroyed communities, and stripped millions of Africans of their identity and dignity. This dark history of the Catholic Church has only recently come fully to light. Pope Leo acknowledged that the Church has gradually come to a deeper awareness of the gravity of these issues, but admitted that the Church took far too long to denounce slavery. Besides responding to requests from European countries to enslave infidels in Africa, there is an admission that the Catholic Church itself owned slaves who were bought and sold as assets. It was only under Pope Leo XIII in the 19th century that the Church condemned slavery, although the condemnation was largely implicit. In his first encyclical letter, Pope Leo stated that the Church's involvement in enslaving Africans constitutes a wound in Christian memory, one from which we cannot consider ourselves detached. It's impossible not to feel deep sorrow when contemplating the immense suffering and humiliation endured by so many in stark contrast to their immeasurable dignity as persons infinitely loved by the Lord. For this, in the name of the Church, I sincerely ask for pardon. This apology makes Pope Leo the first pope to issue an explicit institutional apology concerning slavery. It is bold, it is historic. Other popes have condemned slavery and spoken boldly about human dignity, but none had previously admitted direct institutional involvement like Pope Leo. Pope John Paul II asked Africans for forgiveness for the slave trade during his 1985 visit to Cameroon. However, his apology did not acknowledge the Church's own complicity. Pope Leo issued this historic apology just 1 month after his visit to Africa. In April 2026, Pope Leo conducted an apostolic trip to Africa, visiting Algeria, Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. But more specifically, he visited Our Lady of Maxima in Angola, a church built in the late 16th century by Portuguese colonizers who disguised themselves as missionaries spreading Christianity. They built the church for new converts, but the bigger mission was darker. This church acted as a collection hub for enslaved people. Africans were forcibly baptized, chained, and forced to walk to the Atlantic Ocean, where they were shipped across the sea. During his African tour, Pope Leo prayed at the sanctuary of Mama Maxima and publicly recalled the sorrow and great suffering endured by the people of Angola over centuries. 1 month later, the Pope issued his first encyclical letter, admitting institutional responsibility and asking pardon for the Church's historic role in legitimizing the subjugation and enslavement of non-Christians. Historians say Pope Leo has strengthened the moral credibility of the Church with this apology and admission. But there is a deeply personal dimension to this story. Research shows that Pope Leo's own family tree includes both slaves and slave owners. He is a descendant of black ancestors enslaved in Louisiana, USA. According to the American Jesuit Review, his fourth great-grandmother, Mary Jane, and his fourth great-grandfather, Franco, were landowners in New Orleans who held dozens of enslaved people. Therefore, the first American pope carries in his bloodline both the enslaved and those who enslaved them. Slavery had been practiced by Arabs across the Sahara Desert, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean for centuries. An estimated 10 million Africans were trafficked through these routes. European superpowers commercialized the trade by establishing a route across the Atlantic Ocean to transport enslaved people captured in Africa. Transatlantic slave trade took place between the 16th and 19th centuries, affecting 10 to 12 million people. Companies and individuals from Germany, Portugal, France, the Netherlands, Britain, America, Spain, and other nations traveled to Africa in the name of Western civilization. They established connections and trade routes and then captured Africans, chained them together, and forced them to walk to coastal ports. The captives were then transported from Africa across the Atlantic Ocean to Europe and America, where they were forced to work on farms, construct bridges, roads, towers, and underground railway networks. Many enslaved people were dehumanized to the point of being forced to sleep with animals. After years of resistance from the enslaved people, change began to come. In 1772, a court in Britain made it illegal to own slaves on British soil. The 1804 Haiti Revolution marked a new dawn when enslaved people defeated their colonial masters to regain their freedom. This is the first successful slave revolt in history. By 1807, Britain banned the importation and sale of slaves. The United States followed with a similar law in 1808. However, all enslaved people in these countries did not regain their freedom until decades later, in 1833 in the British Empire and 1865 in the United States. Countries like Liberia, Sierra Leone, Haiti, Gabon, the Caribbean, and parts of Canada were used by Western powers as settlement areas for emancipated slaves. Religion was still used to rehabilitate and resettle former slaves. The year 2026 has witnessed two historical events related to slavery. Besides the Pope's historic apology, the United Nations General Assembly on March 25, 2026 adopted a landmark resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade, which resulted in racialized slavery, the gravest crime against humanity in human history. These two events are likely to pave the way for healing and justice. But is it enough? African critics argue that there is more at stake than apologies and UN resolutions. Many African countries are walking away from traditional Western powers, having learned to secure their own allies and partners. Admission of past mistakes paves the way for reconciliation and moving beyond this inhuman history, but some see it as politically convenient timing. The question remains, will words translate into reparations, institutional reform, and genuine accountability? Or will this apology fade into the pages of history while the legacy of slavery continues to shape global inequality.